Hello, everybody. Flow Forge here. Today, we're going to be talking about these things on the side. So, a lot of you have this issue where, and I was like this too, you get excited about things. You're hyped up, you're ready to go, you're living the dream, you're saying, I am going to do X, and I am going to be Y. Now, that's great. Go ahead, make the commitment, start today, be awesome. Change your beliefs about who you are to change your behavior. Like, that's perfect. Let's get going. Great start. You run into this problem. Get to this point where you're like, you're doing it. And then, lo and behold, it's hard. Oh no. And then you basically just don't do it. And you're just like, well, that was really hard. Womp womp, I guess. You got to stop doing this. You got to stop doing this because, and you know that. You don't need me to tell you that. So that's why I'm going to give you solutions and answers and help here. But let's go over it real quick. You got to stop doing this because every single thing worth doing in life is hard. There is nothing that is easy. Don't deceive yourself. Don't fool yourself. There's no such thing as a real get-rich-quick scheme other than studying and learning how to make money and then how to make money fast. And guess what? This process right here, what's going on right here, it's friction. So no matter what you want to do, you have to dive into friction and you have to be okay with friction. Now, what can help you a lot? Because, ADHD hates friction. ADHD is disgusted by friction. It's almost like 2 times as worse because your brain needs more dopamine. It needs more stimulation. It's always looking for the dopamine hit. Everybody's brain is, but yours is like on overdrive doing that. So obviously just saying like, oh, overcome the friction, man. It's easy. That's not how it works. And I find that what I've observed in very successful people is that they don't mess with this friction thing so much. Now, there's a complex relationship here because you need friction. You want friction. Friction is the dragon that you're slaying, right? Like, you don't want the easy win. Why would you want an easy win? Because then you would just be an easy person. Like, you want to be hard. You want to go hard and you want to fight and you want to be strong and you want to earn that victory. So the friction is the bar. Like 98% of people don't even step over it. And that's what makes you different. That's what makes you built different, okay? Is if you actually have what it takes to observe that, hey, this is friction. And by the way, this helps a ton, is just observing and just like calling things out and saying, hey, that's friction. That's the thing that's in my way. And if I just sit with it and just sit in the uncomfortable place of doing stuff that is not frictionless, then I will get what I want after a while. But it takes a long time. That's part of the friction. It's baked into the way that reality is designed. Okay? Everything takes way longer than you think it's going to take. But the way that you make it faster and the way that you can shorten the time and the way that you can overcome this friction is through basically sidestepping it. So this is kind of the easy trick, but it's not everything, guys. So you need to come up against friction, but you need to also make it easier for yourself. And when you have ADHD, it's even more important to make things easier for yourself because life is genuinely harder for you. Like, I know you don't want to believe that. I know you want to think that you can do anything that a normal person can do, and you can, but it's going to take more effort for you. Like, I'm sorry, that's the reality. That's the truth. So what we want to do is we want to even the playing field. And what I've observed is that highly successful people, this is what they do already. Like highly successful neurotypicals, they don't try harder. Like, that's not how it works. You take a little bit more time thinking and acquiring skill. That's the difference. You think more, you have better ideas and plans, and you acquire skill. And acquiring skill, this is a process with friction, by the way. So none of this is completely devoid of friction. You still have to overcome it, but you have to do the thing, experience the friction, and then you have to test and experiment, and you have to basically learn and grow from all these different data points of you're trying all these different things. And this takes a long time, and then eventually you have your chemical reaction, and then you need to have a few more, and a few more, and a few more. And this is roots. Like, what this actually is like roots growing in the ground, these chemical reactions that you're stacking up, and all of these roots are drawing in nutrients. They're all things that you can use again in the future, right? Like, that's why I call them assets. Like, skill is an asset. And it takes a long time for this asset to appreciate and value. Like, plants grow for a really long time before they bloom. Okay? And I guess you're a mushroom. So congrats. But that's another tip, is like, find people who are constantly, how mycelium works. It's kind of like a very connective, it's a network. And the other plants share nutrients with this plant. And in this sense, nutrients is the thing that's making the roots grow. So this is your education, right? This is you connecting with people who have already done it. This is going to supercharge your root growth system. But remember, the roots don't grow without execution. There's still mechanical force that needs to be overcome. There's still friction that needs to be overcome. So don't just get studying forever. If you're in that place right now, then you got to get out of there, man, because you're not safe. You're going to waste a lot of time, and you're going to be really, really sad. Okay? So don't do that. But the whole trick here is that highly successful neurotypicals, they reduce friction as much as possible. You see, most people are content to live a hard life. And the reason that they live a hard life is because they never want to overstep the barrier of friction to make it easier. So success, I've seen, is really just about being willing to overcome the next barrier of friction that makes everything else easier. And that's all it is. And you just keep doing it over and over and over again. In fact, this isn't how I live my life, but if you wanted to do this experiment, maybe for a week or a month, just instead of taking new things on, only reduce friction for things that you wanted to do. And you can increase friction for things that you don't want to do, things that you have struggles with, problems with. Maybe you doom scroll a lot. Well, you can just straight up delete the app. I mean, are you going to miss it? No, you're not going to miss it. It's an addiction. Like, you're not going to miss it. You don't even remember what you saw when you were scrolling. You don't remember. You might think like, oh, I got to send memes to the boys. But it's like, why? They doom scroll. They got memes. It's okay. You're not missing out on anything. You're missing out on garbage. Okay? And you know that. So I didn't really need to go into that. Everybody knows that now. But apply this to other things in life. Like, I don't need to play video games as much as I play video games. The reason that you play video games as much as you play video games is because it's so easy to do. So you could just uninstall the game and reinstall it every time you wanted to play. You can make that a rule. And yeah, it's a little bit of friction, but it's not that much friction to just do this one small action. And then what that does is it creates a barrier of friction that means you're much more likely to succeed. Okay? So you're making life easier by just adding a little bit of effort instead of trying all out once. And that's kind of what the beginning of this video is about, is a lot of you think that you can just run into glory. You can just like reach for the stars, shoot for the stars, and you're going to get there and you're going to make it. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. It's going to take years. Let that sink in. Years. And every time you delay accepting that it's going to take years. Every time you delay accepting that you need to grow in skill a lot, like a lot, before you actually start doing anything incredible, well, I'm sorry. You're not going to do anything incredible because you're going to put it off. You're going to put it off till tomorrow, put it off till tomorrow, put it off till tomorrow, put it off till tomorrow. You're out of time. If you started now, it's too late. But then, I mean, it's really never too late. You can always do something, right? But you want to start as early as possible. And you want to start stacking these things in your life that make life easier, that save you time as early as possible because they compound. And look at that. You won way before you even intended to. And the reason why is because you didn't have to work as hard, because the only thing that you worked hard on was making things easier, was making things smoother, was making things buttery smooth, and it just works. And it takes time. It takes time and it takes effort. But this can be almost a therapeutic process if you slow down and you just work on the things that make life easier and save you more time and save you money. That's it. You just keep doing that and you'll be okay. Put things that in the way of things that you don't want to do, get things out of the way, make it easier to do things you want to do. You can do this with extensions very easily. In fact, what I will do is I'm going to make a video about my extension stack shortly here. If I don't do it, remind me in the comments because I mean to. Extensions is a great way. For me, one of the best things was just switching to Linux, because I switched to Linux and then it was like everything mush was out of my way. And I had to try to get everything to work because, admittedly, not everything works on Linux. Most things do, but not everything just works. And I run a complex system. I run NixOS. So nothing quite just works on NixOS. This is a hardcore Linux distribution. If you're doing something like Debian or Mint, you're going to be okay. It's not that hard. You can make the switch very easily. But for NixOS, it's like I gotta make derivations, and I basically have to code if I want to make my packages work properly sometimes. That's a lot of friction. But what this ensures is that it's custom and I set it up the way that I want exactly. So if you're interested in this, if you're interested in free open source software and regaining digital sovereignty, let me know in the comments. I help people with this for $100 an hour. We basically just sit down and work on your computer and make it so that your computer makes you happy. All right. And we have a focus on productivity, but if you just want to rice it, I can teach you how to do that too. This whole mindset of just make it easy, and then make the things you don't want to do hard, and, understand that growth takes an extremely long time. And the only way you're going to speed it up is by slowing down and adding these things that make life easier. These are your accessibility systems. These are your, all these things. And I'm going to tell you guys, when you're starting, the big problem is that when you get this, yes, I'm going to do it, you go and then you fall off the horse. You basically stop after some time, and then it's like, oh, well, I guess that didn't work. I'm just whatever. It's because you didn't commit to it. And if you really committed to it, what you would do is you'd realize after you fell off, after you stopped doing it for a month, be like, oh, wait a minute, I need to get back on it because I made a commitment. And so then you just keep doing that, and then you just keep doing that, and then you just keep doing that, and then eventually it becomes a habit. And then it's easy, then it's frictionless, then it's harder, and this is momentum. Momentum is going up into the next gear, and then if you're at this gear, guess what? It's easier to go to this gear than it is all the way down here. So that's momentum, and this applies to large scale, applies to short scale, everything in your life. So it's extremely powerful. If you want mentorship, it's $50. Actually, the first session's free. You don't have to be sold. We can just have a conversation about wisdom in these things. And if you want to join a community of people who care, there is a link in the description for the Discord, and I highly recommend you go there because I do some talks there, and it's just going to be, I'm trying to build a community of people who are like how I said that, having a community of people makes this easier. That's what I'm trying to build for myself and for all of you, right? So let's just all get together, talk about stuff, help each other grow, and yeah, that's all I've got today. Thank you guys so much. Lore Forge out. Peace.